What's good, everybody? This is the one and only GM, and today we're gonna watch the IGN Tekken 8 Summer of Gaming with Harada and Michael Murray sharing new details about Tekken 8. So I haven't seen this yet, so yeah, let's watch it and see what they have to say about the game. So let's get to it.
Katsuhiro Harada and Tekken producer Michael Murray. How are you all doing? Thank you all so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Right. Now, we have some very specific questions that I'm pretty sure all the fans are excited to hear the answers to. So I'm going to start with my first one here. You've been demoing Tekken 8 to both press and fighting fans, and I wonder what kind of feedback have you been getting about the game, and has that feedback led to any substantial gameplay changes?
So basically, they've been doing beta tests all over all the tournaments, the alpha beta build. And a lot of pro players and everybody that's been playing hasn't been giving feedback about the game. So that's how they're making changes to the game. And a lot of changes have been made like that. So I'm interested to see what changes have they made based on the feedback to the game. And I'm guessing it's based on like heat system stuff. Maybe the heat system lasts too long. And, attacking and still having heat. I think they changed a lot of stuff like that.
So we've been demoing the game, like you said, and actually the response was overwhelmingly positive, almost scarily so. We're comparing this to back in the day when we used to do location tests in the arcades, and players would have this notebook that they could use to write comments about the game and feedback. And a lot of times, that was very critical because the people who were there were the hardest core of the players in Tekken. So
wow, 442 doesn't combo no more, a counter hit?
But there were a few things we noticed, not necessarily from the verbal feedback that they gave, but watching them play the game. We noticed that one of the new mechanics this time around, the heat system, was something that they weren't fully grasping as quickly as we liked. So we thought we wanted to do something to kind of adjust the learning curve there to make it so that they could pick it up much quicker. So there is that, we made some changes to that because of the feedback.
Speaking of which, what?
Also, another thing, if you notice on the sides, they have the modern controls like Street Fighter 6 does, where you could just press like one button. You saw it says Y. You could do a combo. You press one button for heat and other stuff. A lot of new games are putting that to make it easier for casuals to pick it up. I know in Street Fighter, with modern controls, the damage is scaled. I'm wondering if in Tekken 8, the damage is scaled, and I wonder if the combos are optimal or not. Because it makes the game more scrubbier, but I hope, it's not optimal, and I hope it's scaled. So people won't just, use it and be cheesy, like, one button electrics and stuff like that.
What specific changes have you made regarding the heat system?
So about the heat system, in case you're not familiar with it, the main theme of the game this time around is to aggressive.
The movement looks a lot stiffer for sure.
Of the players. So to kind of emphasize that, we added this new heat state.
The movement looks real stiff.
There's two methods that you can use to enter the state.
Down 1+2 in the heat.
And you can choose to do so by going directly into it, using the heat burst, where you just push a button and instantly you're in the state. Or there's certain moves for each character that when you hit your opponent with them, it allows you to enter the state as well. Obviously, there's more advantage to hitting your opponent with the heat engager, is what the move's called, rather than going directly, because you get more time in the heat.
You see, it's been so easy now. Heat bound and then engage it, and then it's gone.
The health gauge, where the heat energy is, there used to be kind of like these chains representing almost these stocks. And so depending on if you had one or two, the things you could do were a little bit different. And it wasn't necessarily that straightforward to the players. So
yeah, it was complicated as hell.
Rid of the heat energy in the meaning of the stocks and just has the gauge. So it's much more simplified, and you can also tell right away what you're able to do. And when you're in the heat state, there's also this kind of very cinematic sequence of attacks at each.
See that big blur when you do a shining? So giant swing. It was weird.
It used to be that the command for this technique was different for each character, but we've also made that just one button.
Way simpler.
Simplified it across the roster. So those are some of the major changes we've made as a result.
You mentioned aggressive.
That's good though that they did that, because I said this before. I said the heat system with the heat engager and the heat smash and heat dash, it made the game way too complicated with the new system, especially with the changes, with the chains and the bars, knowing when to go to heat, when can you go to heat, and all that extra stuff. It made the game real complicated. It's a similar issue I have with Street Fighter 6, that I feel like the whole guard impact and parrying and all that stuff, canceling to moves, makes the game a lot more complicated. So that's an issue with some new fighting games, is that they're making it easier. They trying to make it easier by adding all these new systems, but at the end of the day, it just makes the game more colluded and way more stuff into the game, and confuses players and makes it harder for players to grasp it.
Aggressive players. So, do you think Tekken 8 kind of caters more to aggressive players or defensive players, given the gaming mechanics?
So it's good that they
That's an
made it
interesting
simpler.
question. It's a quite a deep one. So we first need to kind of start off on the kind of basis of the philosophy there. So many people might not think this way, but if you look
The
at
graphics
fighting
look really
games,
nice,
they're
though.
different when you think of defense and offense than other versus online games. So in other games, when you attack your opponent, most of the time the damage is done if they're in the space when you're attacking. But for fighting games, you can block attacks. Right?
Nice.
So
Wow,
that
that's a
can
lot of
totally
damage.
negate the damage of the
Wow,
attack.
damn, there's
Which
a lot of
is
stuff
already
nerfed
makes
in
it
this
kind of
game.
skewed to defensive
A lot of
capabilities
stuff is
in that
nerfed in this
result.
game. Like a
And
lot,
when you're
lot.
thinking of not just fights, that was very critical for the change. It is a major change in the history, as you mentioned. There's actually a variety of reasons for the change. It is a major change in the history, as you mentioned. This is the first,
as you say, and run away. Now, historically, let's talk about like the cabinets that we
as well. So those were not just the players' defense, and to actually motivate players to be that we're talking. You can also do sidestepping of the attack, which is already makes it kind of skewed to defensive capabilities in that the damage is done of the philosophy there. So many people might not think this way, but that's an interesting question. It's a quite a deep one.
Just want to go
So
back
we
to see
first
what
need
was
to kind
good.
of start off on the kind of basis of the philosophy there. So many people might not think this way, but if you look at fighting games, they're different when you think of defense and offense than other versus
Yeah,
online
there's always
games.
different stuff
So in
between
other games, when
offense
you
and
attack your
defense.
opponent, most of the time the damage is done if they're in the space when you're attacking. But for fighting games, you can block attacks, right? So that can totally negate the damage of the attack.
See sidestep
Which
one
is
right there. You see
already
that?
makes it kind of skewed to
They
defensive
nerfed it a lot.
capabilities in that result.
They nerfed a
And
lot
when
of
you're
things in
thinking
this
of
game, actually.
not just fighting games in general, but Tekken is a 3D fighting game. So in addition to blocking, you can
Damn,
also
down
do
1+2 and
sidestepping,
armor out of
avoiding
it.
your opponent's attacks,
Yeah, so you
making
can
it
still
even more
sidewalk
skewed
and
towards
stuff for
defensive
defensive
capabilities.
options, but the
So
movement is worse. So I'm
this
guessing
new
sidestep is
mechanic
better.
and the aggressive that we're talking about means that we just wanted to add a certain time that it's limited, obviously, where in which a player can more easily open up their opponent and enjoy going on the fence, and to actually motivate players to be more offensive rather than turtling up or running away.
People are
Because
still
it's
gonna turtle
actually quite fun
regardless.
when you actually go on the
People
fence and try it
gonna
out.
turtle, especially
And
when
it's
you
a
use
lot
the
more
heat and
fun
then it's
for
gone.
spectators
You
to
see
watch
when it's
as
gone
well.
like that,
So
you could
those
just
were
turtle.
not just the players themselves, but people watching the game
You could just turtle and not worry
in
about
live
anything,
streams
pretty
or
much,
esports,
because
whatever.
you're not gonna lose chip damage like that anyway when you block.
Yeah, I'm definitely always on the defense, so I'm gonna have to not turtle up, as you say, and run away. Now, historically, let's talk about like the cabinets that that Tekken usually comes out with. Like Tekken has been a game where they've been released on arcade cabinets with the console version coming out later. Things are a little bit different right now. So, can you describe why the change with Tekken 8?
いくつかポイントありましたね。もともと、やっぱりおっしゃったように一番大きい
There's actually a variety of reasons for the change. It is a major change in the history, as you mentioned. This is the first time we're actually.
It looks good. It looks good. The game. It looks a lot more simpler.
Reasons why we're
It looks
doing
like
One of
Tekken
the major
7,
ones, obviously,
but like with way
is
better
just the,
graphics,
state
but
of
with a
the
heat
arcades
joint.
worldwide.
And the damage doesn't seem as high neither. Yeah, the
Previously,
damage is. Look at that. That was really
people
low.
were
That
able
damage.
in the U.S., in Europe, Asia,
Wow.
etc.
Damn,
And then
taunting to that is
this
free.
this
That's not a
started
lot of
declining,
damage
right?
though.
But the speed of the
That
decline
hurt.
in the West, the U.S. and Europe, was much faster than that of Asia. So probably around Tekken 5, which was like 2005 or so, was when we
It's gone.
started to see a noticeable difference there. And what happens as a result is when you started to not see arcades anymore in the West, but only in Asia.
Yeah, the
and
way
they were doing
they used to
arcades
beta
only
test
release
these
for
games
Asian
before is
console.
that they used
That
to
means
have
the players in the West were having
they used to
more
just have the
trouble
game in arcade
engaging
first before it
with
come out on
the game.
console.
So
So
the
they
start
used to
line
have
for
players play it on arcades all the
Tekken
time,
Asia, and it was outside of Asia, was different.
and then that's how people beta
Which wasn't
test it, and then
a
the
great
patch
experience
version
for
will be the
most
console
users.
version.
And then another
So that's how they
is
used to do
just
it.
a simple internal matter that since then our company has changed the
Plus arcades are
organization
dead now, so they
structure
can't
to
do that no
actually,
more.
actually a separate company from the console division, which Harada and I are in. So many
The hell is that?
kind of elements went into that decision, but the first two are probably the biggest ones.
So that means that it's ending with Tekken 7, which is the final arcade cabinet, right?
At least for the arcade first release.
Yes. Well, fortunately, here in the IGN office, we have a Tekken 7 cabinet.
Yeah.
I saw it.
And I have this. If Harada-san can do us the pleasures of signing it after our interview.
Yeah, of course.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'll do.
Yes. Awesome. All right, now my final question. Now the next close network tests for Tekken start July 21st and again on the week of the 28th. Can fans expect to experience? What can they expect to experience, like regarding like stages, characters, competitive gameplay, etc.? What can we expect?
キャラクターは16体だったね。
So we actually had the closed alpha test at several events. I think Combo Breaker was the one.
Yeah, the movement looks a lot more stiffer, but it looks clean though. It's not like
Europe and Asia as well,
crazy
where
super fast
even
movement,
people who were
but it looks
active
like, you
in the
know,
tournament
compact
actually
movement. So I can't really
Tekken 7,
I can't really say I don't like the
that
movement. I like
this is
the,
first time we're
you know what I'm
actually
saying?
opening up to a broader
It's not
audience.
like crazy
And
Dragon Ball
so
type
for the closed
movement.
network test,
And the damage isn't that
we
high
have some
neither.
dates, as you
And I like
mentioned.
that when you use your
First one
heat thing
will
is
be on
gone
PS5
and it goes
only.
back to regular Tekken.
And we'll have 16 characters available, which is a decent size. And that's just for this time. You know, obviously, when we release the game, it's going to have a lot more characters than that. But just for the test, there'll also be about 5 stages, and you'll be able to play all the new mechanics we're talking about, and the changes we made to the heat system as well will be reflected in that build. Not only that, the second date you mentioned is when we're going to be opening it up to crossplay between PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC.
What was it have
that'll be
crossplay?
something
Doesn't be
the
godlike.
first time that people actually get a chance to check out not just the network play, but crossplay as well. So we're looking forward to
There's
it.
gonna be a lot of
I
people to
think we're
play,
all looking
man.
forward to it. This is really exciting.
It's gonna be
Harada-san, Michael, I want to thank you both so much.
So that was a good
We're gonna
video. So
go to our Tekken 7 cabinet machine, and maybe I'm going to get you to sign it, and I'm going to show you some of my defensive techniques if you're open to it.
let's see him sign the cabinet. Cool. So yeah, guys, we learned a lot, man. Now the heat, when you use that joint is gone. That's good. So you can't keep spamming it, and you don't need to worry about eating chip damage all the time. So that's good. That once you use it, it's gone. So basically, once you use up your heat and do the heat engage and stuff like that, it goes back to straight up Tekken. And it also looks like the damage output isn't too high in the game. And, you know, get up kicks don't give combos no more. The movement looks pretty fluent. It's not crazy like Tag 2. You know what I'm saying? It looks more genuine. So I'm really hype about the game. I like the changes, man. I think the game is going to be really good. I like that. Like I said earlier, I like when you use heat. One time it's gone. So the whole game is not just going to be heat. You got to be smart about how you use your heat and when you use your heat. You know? So on that note, everybody, thanks for watching. Check out my Twitch, fightinggm_Tekken. Check out my Metafy.gg, fightinggm for coaching. Check out my HelloFresh. Please use it. Get some good food in your house, you heard? Check that out. Check out the Rogue Energy. Check out my TikTok, fightinggm. Twitter is fightinggm. And check out all the sponsors. Check out my Capcom store, nexus.gg/fightinggm. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.